Hello, this is the Aussie Arrowhand. What you are listening to is part of a research stream series about Buddhism. The challenge I have set myself is to go to the Wikipedia page Glossary of Buddhism and work through each concept A to Z, each word, and to see what I can learn. I might take a detour today to find another glossary of Buddhism because I have found it is helpful to look at a few different lists. I'll go to this Gaia House Retreat Centre site. So we're still in the A section. I've done a video on Ajahn Chah, a respected 20th century Buddhist nun from Germany. I'm thinking I might do Ajahn Chah today. Ajahn Chah. So first I will search his name. Ajahn Chah. He's a Thai monk. On the glossary site, it describes him as an influential 20th century forest monk and Dharma teacher from Thailand. So I'm just trying to open these links here. So that's his website. Like I've opened it twice. So the Venerable Ajahn Chah. Teachings by Ajahn Chah, biography, photos, MP3s and videos. This is a very old style of web page. So let's have a look at the Google page here. Ajahn Chah, Thai monk. He's written a few books: Food for the Heart, Still Flowing Water, On Meditation, Our Real Home, and Being Dharma. So he has a website, there's a Wikipedia page. There's a video of Jack Cornfield talking about him. The Forest Hermitage. So, okay, there's a few resources here to start learning about Ajahn Chah. Now, I'm trying to rely less on Wikipedia as a source. So I might open this page here. What is this? The Buddha Bodhivani Monastery. They've got a little bit of a write-up about him. So let's read. The Venerable Ajahn Chah, Bodhinanatera, was born in 1918 in a farming village in Ubon Ratchathani province, northeastern Thailand. He ordained as a novice monk for a brief period in his youth, and at the age of 20, still deeply attracted to monastic life, took full ordination. After following the traditional curriculum of Buddhist studies customary in Thailand at the time, he eventually grew disenchanted with study. In 1946, he took up the austere life of a wandering forest monk. Thailand's tradition of forest-dwelling monks, having waned in previous centuries, had been revived recently by renowned meditation master Ajahn Mun. Inspired by this teacher's example, many monks in early 20th century Thailand abandoned sedentary lives of study to wander the forest as the Buddha had, practicing strictly in line with the Vinaya, the Buddhist code of monastic discipline, and single-mindedly pursuing meditation as a path to the realization of truth. Desiring to find the real essence of the Buddha's teachings, Ajahn Chah followed the example of such wandering monks. He spent the following 8 years of his life searching out remote wilderness areas and practicing meditation under various under various teachers of the tradition, including Venerable Ajahn Mun himself. I'm going to look up Ajahn Mun. Perhaps we can find a photo of him. Famous Thai monk. Okay, so that's him here. So we're learning about this tradition of forest monks in Thailand. They wandered around forests and remote places. Okay, so there's an AI overview. I'll read that soon. Let's have a look here. The Thai forest tradition. So I'm thinking that is probably... Yeah, so that's Ajahn Mun. The Kamatana forest tradition of Thailand, commonly known in the West as the Thai forest tradition, is a lineage of Theravada Buddhist monasticism. The Thai forest tradition started around 1900 with Ajahn Mun Bharadato, who wanted to practice Buddhist monasticism and its meditative practices according to the normative standards of early Buddhism. After studying with Ajahn Sao Kantasilo and wandering through the northeast of Thailand, Ajahn Mun reportedly became an anagami and started to teach in northern Thailand. What is an anagami? It's a partially enlightened person who has cut off the first 5 fetters that bind the ordinary mind. Okay, so this comes into, I think this is getting into karma and rebirth and sort of these stages that you arrive at depending on your level of enlightenment. And yeah, okay, so it's another word that's part of that. That's a whole video on itself, I think. I haven't looked into it too closely. So he strove for a revival of the early Buddhism, insisting on a strict observance of the Buddhist monastic code known as the Vinaya and teaching the practice of jhana and the realization of nibbana. Okay, so that's all Ajahn Mun. So initially Ajahn Mun's teachings were met with fierce opposition, but in the 1930s his group was acknowledged as a formal faction of Thai Buddhism. And in the 1950s, their relationship with the royal and the religious establishment improved. In the 1960s, Western students started to be attracted to the movement, and in the 1970s, branch monasteries of the tradition began to be established in the West. Underlying attitudes of the Thai forest tradition include an interest in the empirical effectiveness of practice, the individual's development, and the use of skill in their practice and living. Okay, so lineage heads. Well, look here, we've got Ajahn Mun, Ajahn Fate, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Ajahn Mahabua, Ajahn Chah Sapato. So that's our subject for today. That's his Wikipedia page. So I will go back to after many arduous years of travel and practice, Ajahn Chah was invited to settle in a thick forest grove known as a dwelling place of tigers, cobras and spirits near the village of his birth. The monastery that eventually grew up there came to be known as Wat Nong Pa Pong. The conditions were difficult and the basic living requisites scarce. Out of faith and loyalty to their teacher, Ajahn Chah, the monks and nuns willingly endured these myriad hardships to follow the path and teachings Ajahn Chah lovingly laid out for them. So in 1968, Ajahn Sumedho an American intrigued by the strict monastic discipline and way of life, came to study under Ajahn Chah. From this time on, the number of Western disciples grew, and the first overseas branch monastery of Wat Nong Pa Pong was established in England in 1979. Today, Ajahn Chah's teachings and disciples are dotted across the globe, with additional monasteries in Switzerland, Italy, France, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the USA. In 1981, Ajahn Chah's health began to fail, culminating in the need for a brain surgery. Despite this intervention, his condition became progressively worse, and he spent the last 10 years of his life bedridden and unable to speak. Throughout this time, he was carefully tended by his faithful disciples. On the 16th of January 1992, Venerable Ajahn Chah passed away at the age of 74, leaving behind the lineage that is still growing today. He is credited with the highest spiritual accomplishments of the Buddhist path and was loved for his humour and wisdom. Individuals interested in the liberating teachings of the Buddha, both monastic and lay, Thai and international, travelled far and wide to seek out even a short audience with this extraordinary yet down-to-earth man. The warm embrace of Ajahn Chah's compassionate presence touched many hearts around the world, and his sharp wisdom were always at hand to help others find their way to true peace of mind. Headed by the King and Queen of Thailand, his funeral was attended by nearly 1 million people, paying their last respects to a man who truly embodied the Buddha's teachings. To this day, thousands of monastics and lay people came to pay respects and practice the Dharma on the anniversary of Ajahn Chah's death. As Ajahn Chah's disciples remind us on such occasions, the best way to honour his memory is to practice and realise for ourselves the freedom to which Ajahn Chah so compassionately pointed the way. Okay, so where is this monastery? I want to know more. If I go about. Okay, so Buddha Bodhivani Monastery is a branch monastery of the late Fra Bodhiana Thera. So the Venerable Ajahn Chah, the well-known and respected Northeast Thai meditation master. Okay, so it's a branch monastery associated with him. So, okay. Yeah, alright, so that's a source for reading about him. When did he die? 1991, I think? No, 16th of January 1992. And how old was he? 73 years old when he died. He was around a long time. So let's read this page here, and I'm going to start getting out my notes. So let me break this here so that I can readjust it a bit. Oops. No, that's not what I'm looking for. That's alright. That'll do. Ajahn Chah was a Thai Buddhist monk. He was an influential teacher of the Buddha Dharma and a founder of 2 major monasteries in the Thai forest tradition. So, we'll go Ajahn Chah. We'll put his dates down. 17th of June 1918 to 16th of January 1992. He was a Thai Buddhist monk. And so he was Theravada. It's cool. And I just want to have a look at the countries Theravada is practiced in, because I know Sri Lanka is a very prominent Theravada hub. So India, Sri Lanka. It is the official religion of Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Cambodia, and the main dominant Buddhist variant found in Laos and Thailand. So, yeah, Thailand tends to be Theravadan. I don't know if there's got to be, well, I don't think these countries will be completely exempt from Mahayana followers. But yeah, as far as sort of official or culturally dominant sort of strains of Buddhism go, yeah, in Thailand you're going to find Theravada. So, respected and loved in his own country as a man of great wisdom, he was also instrumental in establishing Theravada Buddhism in the West. So, that's one of his, how shall we put this, achievements. I don't know if he would have seen it that way, but for whatever reason, Theravada Buddhism spread to the West because of him. Beginning in 1979 with the founding of City Viveka, commonly known as the Sithurst Buddhist Monastery. Now, is that the one I was just looking at? No. So the Siddhaviveka Buddhist Monastery. It's an English Theravada Buddhist monastery in the Thai forest tradition. Where is that located? It's located in, does that say, so Sithurst in West Sussex, Petersfield, United Kingdom. So, okay. English Buddhists. God. So Buddhism is all over the world, obviously, but yeah, sometimes just thinking about regional variants can be a bit strange. I'm trying to imagine Buddhism in that sort of English manner. I would be interested to learn more about English Buddhism. All right, so yeah, did he help to establish this? Or was it just inspired by him? So it was established by Ajahn Sumedho. So in that article we read, I believe he was a successor. Ajahn Chah was his teacher. And here's the other one. Wat Nong Pa Pong, generally shortened to Wat Pa Pong, is a Theravada Buddhist monastery in Warin Shamrap, Ubon Ratchathani, Thailand. It was established by the late Ajahn Chah as the main monastery of the Thai forest tradition. And there's a photo of it there. So Ajahn Sumedho opened this. Alright, so who's Ajahn Sumedho? Let's look here. So, okay, he looks British. So, he was born Robert Carr Jackman in Seattle, Washington. Okay, so he was American. Ajahn Sumedho. Can someone look British? He just looks old. Okay, he looks old. In that photo, so he was instrumental in, and there's another one, Wat Pa Nanashat, Theravada Buddhist monasteries in northeast Thailand. So, Thai forest tradition. This is all fascinating to me. I've got to say, since I started this channel, I've mostly been swimming in Mahayana waters when it comes to considering Buddhism. But yeah, okay. So this guy, he built a bunch of temples. Ajahn Chah was his teacher. He's still alive, 1934. That's remarkable. I could go meet this man if I wanted. he might be sick. I don't know. Just like Ajahn Chah, who was bedridden for 10 years at the end of his life. But yeah, I wonder how he's doing. That has he got a social media presence? I don't know. I'm going to look him up. So American monk, yeah. So 9th of March 2025. He's still giving talks. Yep. Okay, so that's the Amravati Buddhist Monastery. I might go to this YouTube channel for a moment. And I think I'd like to subscribe. I want to watch some of these. Okay, so let's close that. Got Wat Nong Pa Pong. Theravada Buddhist monasteries. Okay, so we've got monasteries that have been built, but also Thai forest tradition. They live in the forest, they walk around secluded places. So, no. So close that one. Okay, so there's a few different monasteries that have been built as a result of Ajahn Chah's teachings. Because this, what's his name? Sumedho? Okay, I'll come back to that in a moment. In the United Kingdom, the forest tradition of Ajahn Chah, so beginning in 1979 with the founding of Cittaviveka in the United Kingdom, the forest tradition of Ajahn Chah has spread throughout Europe, the United States, and the British Commonwealth. The Dharma talks of Ajahn Chah have been recorded, transcribed, and translated into several languages. So more than 1 million people, including the Thai royal family, attended Ajahn Chah's funeral in January 1993, held a year after his death, due to hundreds of thousands of people expected to attend. It's a whole year after his death. He left behind a legacy of Dharma talks, students, and monasteries. Okay, so here's another page. The Forest Tradition of Ajahn Chah. It's a Mahanikai monastic organisation in the Thai forest tradition, composed of the students of Ajahn Chah Sabado. So, strictly speaking, the forest tradition of Ajahn Chah denotes the institutions. You have a branch affiliation with Wat Pa Pong, the administrative centre of the organisation. Okay, so there we go. There's some monks. So Ajahn Chah with his resident sangha. That was founded in 1967. Very good. Alright, so there's quite a bit here. I'm going to close some tabs. So I've opened a lot of stuff. Let's close the glossaries. Actually, I might get that guy's house one back up. So we'll come back to this. Okay. Right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to type in his name. Okay. So here are there's several Dharma talks and lectures on here. It's got some short videos. Some of them are quite lengthy, 30 minutes or more. And there's a lot to explore here. Some of this footage will be quite old, so I'm going to have a look through this soon. I want to go to his website real quick. Okay, so the teachings of Ajahn Chah. I want to see how he's represented on here. So if I click on the teachings, all available Dharma talks by Ajahn Chah. Uh, is this... Let's have a look here. What happens if I go to introduction? What do I see? Okay, so nothing has loaded. Preface. The following Dharma books of Ajahn Chah have been included in this collection of talks. Bodhinyana, A Taste of Freedom, Living Dharma, Food for the Heart, The Path to Peace. And note that Food for the Heart, that's the year he died. Is it posthumous? Possibly. Maybe he wrote it while he was dying. I don't know. Let's have a look at that one. Food for the Heart. So it's a collection of his most powerful teachings, 10 transcribed talks. Okay, so it's more of a compilation. Okay, so we got that there about teachings for monks. So there was an emphasis he gave to sangha, the monastic order, and its use as a vehicle for Dharma practice. So one of the most notable features of his teachings was his work using the sangha as a vehicle for Dharma practice. This is not to deny his unique gift for teaching lay people, which enabled him to communicate brilliantly with people from all walks of life, be they simple farmers or university professors. But the results he obtained with teaching and creating solid sangha communities are plainly visible in the many monasteries which grew up around him, both within Thailand and later in England, Australia, Europe and elsewhere. Ajahn Chah foresaw the necessity of establishing the sangha in the West if long-term results were to be realised. So we can see there that this was a project. So it seems it was no accident that he helped establish Theravada Buddhism elsewhere. So we needed to establish a sangha in the West if long-term results were to be realised. So I think this here about teachings for monks seems to be a book that he wrote. So we go Ajahn Chah. So I'm not seeing a book here, but this book is a collection of talks he gave to both lay people and monks. So, translator of Food for the Heart. So is that... This seems a little bit all over the place. It's not very clear to me if this is meant to be a book. It just says all available Dharma talks, but it seems to have chapters. So that's okay. Foreword by a disciple. Let's just have a look. The translator of everything is teaching us. Okay, this seems to be a collection of writings about him. Learning to listen. What is that? Okay, so during an informal gathering at his residence one evening, the master said, "When you listen to the Dharma, you must open up your heart and compose yourself in its centre. Don't try and accumulate what you hear or make painstaking efforts to retain it through your memory. Just let the Dharma flow into your heart as it reveals itself and keep yourself continuously open to the flow in the present moment. What is ready to be retained will remain, will happen of its own accord, not through forced effort on your part." Okay, so I'm not going to read all of that, but okay. So this is a collection of writings. They're calling them Dharma talks. So there's several here. This might be a good resource to look through. I thought at first this might be a book that's sort of arranged in chapters, but no, it seems to be bits and pieces plucked out of all his writings, which is good. So PDF with all Dharma talks, what does that look like? So the teachings of Ajahn Chah, a collection of Ajahn Chah's Dharma talks. Preface. Alright, so it is a book. It is a book. It's just a compendium. Okay, so but it's been put into this, what is it, Web 1.0, 2.0, I'm not sure which one. I think 1.0 is very basic, but yeah, this is an old school website. So this is a book. So I might save that PDF. Come back to that one. I'll leave that open. And there's paper editions of books that you can buy. Do they sell them off here? Food for the Heart. Yeah. So Foreword by Jack Cornfield. That name keeps coming up while I study Buddhism. So I better look at him at some point. Biography of Ajahn Chah. Yep. So I've already read a biography of him today. But yeah. So he was very concerned with the sangha, with the monastic life, and also spreading the sangha all over the world. So he managed to get some monasteries set up. And there's a list here of international monasteries. May all have deep wisdom and true compassion. Okay, so when I click on this, that's the page it takes me to. It's not telling me much about monasteries. So I think the web page needs some updating or some maintenance. So yeah. Oh, there you go. Teachings by disciples. It takes you to the same page. Okay, so this looks like an under construction message. So this page isn't done yet, but they put may all have deep wisdom and true compassion. Okay, so that works. So I'm going to go to, so I've looked through his website now, got a better understanding of him. Okay, Thai forest monk, was really concerned with the sangha. And yeah, so let's have a look at some of his videos. Now let's try this one that just says letting go. I want to see.
We practice to learn how to let go, not how to increase our holding onto things.
So what should a monk's main concern be?
ฉะนั้นพระควรจะมีมุ่งหมายอย่างไรครับฉะนั้นพระจะควรมีมุ่งหมายอย่างไรมีความมุ่งหมายทางการปล่อยวาง The aim is to.
Okay, so the translation on that's not too good. I think I may have botched up the microphone there, but yeah, that first video seemed to be, it was either AI generated or someone reading his text. I'm just looking for something where he's directly talking. That one is not translated very well. At least the captions aren't working. So let's have a look at Why Are We Here? Is that him? Different guy by the looks of it. So let's try this one. Developing Samadhi.
Without forcing them to be longer or shorter, stronger or weaker than normal.
Okay, so I'm not sure if there's any videos of him actually talking. I may have to look through some of these videos more. What about this one?
These monks in northeast Thailand are on Bindabat, the daily dawn walk to receive their food offered by the villagers. Not all monks in Thailand keep strictly to the discipline prescribed by the Buddha, but these monks strive to maintain the original forest tradition of a pure and simple life.
Okay, so I'll just pause that here. This looks like a better video. It seems to be a documentary of some kind, and it's quite short. I might watch all of it.
They're not allowed to possess money, nor grow their own food. This ensures their total dependence on the lay community, so they can't cut themselves off in a spiritual cocoon. The abbot, the Venerable Ajahn Chah, has been in robes for 50 years.
อยู่ในป่าเลยอยู่ในป่าต่างอยู่ในเมือง
Here in the forest, you can learn to be in harmony with the way things are in nature.
อยู่ในป่าเป็นปกติ
You can live happily and peacefully.
สบายสงบได้ทั้งประโยชน์ตนและช่วย
Buddhist
คน
monks
Okay, so I might just pause there. Yeah, a couple of interesting things. There seems to be a kind of dependence on lay people to help them. And what I mean by that is they're living in such a way where they're not cut off from the rest of society. It's not like a monastic bubble. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. And I have noticed with some Buddhist temples there's a lot of offerings from the people who visit to help with sort of the, well, they might offer food or donations to help out the monastery. So here in the forest it's especially important because they don't have a lot. Right, so we'll move on to the next section.
monks don't practice meditation for selfish reasons. We practice in order to know ourselves.
สงบได้ทั้งประโยชน์ตนและช่วย
Buddhist monks don't practice meditation for selfish reasons. We practice in order to know ourselves, so that then we'll be able to understand and teach others how to live peacefully and wisely.
ให้ถึงความสงบสุข
Okay, so there's this idea, I think, sometimes that some consider that mindfulness is a kind of selfish practice. It is something that we do by ourselves. It's not for the benefit of anyone else. But I think the more... I think the deeper sort of teaching there is that we're doing it for a reason. We're doing it to cultivate loving kindness inside of us. We're doing it to find ways to model living in the world to other people. And this is Theravadans doing this. Sort of up until this point, I've had a kind of perception of Theravada as perhaps a little more self-interested or self-concerned than Mahayana traditions are, because the Mahayana has it has the Bodhisattva who is bringing out the Buddha nature in other people in the world. That's the sort of highest ideal of enlightenment. Here it is the Arahant, someone who has completely destroyed the sort of fetters, who is living in such a way that, yeah, they're just completely free. They're free of all the mental anguish and the sort of all the things that condition our minds. We're free. Okay, so let's move on.
This monk has been ordained for 15 years. He's respected not only for his skill in meditation, but also for his practical skills, his consistent mindfulness. Meditation doesn't just involve being at peace with the world. Confronting the self can be like walking into a raging storm. It's quite usual at first to despair, even to want to kill oneself.
Some people think that a monk's life is a lazy and an easy one. If that's what they think, they should just try and see how long they can stand it.
Okay, that's that's an interesting way to put it. And yeah, this idea that sort of looking into the self, you know, it's a storm in there. It's not a pleasant place. Meditation practice, I believe, it's not this stereotype of attaining peace through silence. It is analysing our inner life, our psychology, our self, everything that constitutes us, and there's a lot lurking in there. I think a lot of people who have a very superficial understanding of Buddhism do not know or understand until they do it. And it would not be easy to live a life like this. This is not, I don't know, if you look at this and feel this is lazy, well, they're enduring hardship quite voluntarily. And most people would not be able to live in the forest like this. They would not be able to deal with what it feels like meditating in this way. This is why Buddhists train their minds. It is psychologically difficult, not only to survive in this world, but just even to just switch off and look inside ourselves is really, really hard. And I guess what I love about the sangha is there's a lot of people doing this, and you're all together. You're all together. And I'm wondering what life would be like living in a sangha of this kind in a forest. I'm deeply fascinated by this.
A monk's work is hard. He works to free his heart so that he begins to feel loving kindness, which embraces everything. He sees that all life has the characteristic of the breath. It rises and it falls. Everything that is born expires. So his suffering diminishes as he knows that nothing belongs to him.
What a beautiful quote. I might listen to that again. I was so captured by that.
A monk's work is hard. He works to free his heart so that he begins to feel loving kindness, which embraces everything. He sees that all life has the characteristic of the breath. It rises and it falls. Everything that is born expires. So his suffering diminishes as he knows that nothing belongs to him.
ในทางพุทธศาสนานั้น
To help people contemplate the true nature of the body, we have human skeletons in the assembly hall, because when one doesn't understand death, life is very confusing.
ความทุกข์มันก็น้อยลงเอาไว้เพื่อประโยชน์อย่างนั้นสมมติ
Buddha made a distinction between ultimate truth and conventional truth. The idea of a self is merely a convention. Foreigner, Thai, you, the interviewer, these are all conventions.
สมมติว่าคนสัมภาษณ์ เป็นสมมติทั้งนั้นแหละ
In ultimate reality, there isn't anybody. There is only earth, fire, water, air, elements which have combined temporarily. We call the body a person, mine, but ultimately there is no me. There is only anatta, not self.
Okay, this has been something I've been considering lately, and yeah, I'm finishing the last chapter in What the Buddha Taught by Wapola Rahula at the moment. There will be a video about that soon. But he talks about a raft. He talks about beliefs as a raft, you know, and this raft, it helps us float towards the shore of truth, towards the shore of enlightenment. Once you reach the shore, you no longer need the raft. The raft becomes a heavy, cumbersome burden that you are carrying with you everywhere. You don't need the raft. Okay, so there's this idea of conventional truth and what I call it, ultimate truth. So what is it to discard the raft? It is, you understand ultimate truth, right? You see that the self is a fiction, and you understand sunyata, emptiness. These are all things I expect from this, and you sort of naturally, instinctually live the middle way. So I think that's a little bit of what he's talking about there. I have not experienced these things. I'm just going off what other monks, I'm not a monk, what monks have talked about who have experienced enlightenment. And yeah, wow, I'm really drawn to this so far. And apologies if the mic has cut out a couple of times there.
เป็นเรื่องสร้างตนให้เจริญได้ดีมาก
When we see beyond self, we no longer cling to happiness, and when we stop clinging, we can begin to be happy.
ทำอะไรสบายมากถ้าห่วงก็ไปนิพพานไม่ได้เลยสิต้องภาวนาไม่ให้ห่วงพระนิพพานถ้าห่วงพระนิพพานก็ไปไม่ได้ไปพระนิพพานไม่ได้ Shouldn't be concerned with nirvana or attaining nirvana. If you are, then that in itself will prevent you from gaining nirvana.
So what should a monk's main concern be?
ฉะนั้นพระควรจะมีมุ่งหมายอย่างไรครับฉะนั้นพระจะควรมีมุ่งหมายอย่างไรมีความมุ่งหมายทางการปล่อยวาง The aim is to let go.
So you have to let go, but without striving to let go.
ฉะนั้นต้องปล่อยวางแต่ว่าไม่ควรจะปรารถนาการปล่อยวางใช่ปรารถนาไม่ได้ปล่อยวางไม่ปรารถนาสิ่งใดทั้งนั้นน่ะว่าง That's right. You should let go without desire. หมดถ้ามีอยู่ก็ไม่ใช่พระนิพพานเลยสิ If there's still desire and the pursuit to do that, then that's not nirvana. ที่ไม่มีปัญหาเกิดขึ้น
Be mindful and let things take their natural course. Then your mind will become still, like a clear forest pool. All kinds of rare animals will come to drink at the pool. You will see many wonderful and strange things come and go, but you will be still. Problems will arise, but you will see through
อ
them
นัตตาคำเดียวนี่
immediately.
แหละนำชาวพุทธไปถึงที่หมดปัญหาแล้ว
This is the happiness of the Buddha.
Well, that was another remarkable quote that ended on. I feel like I need to listen to it again, so I'm going to skip back.
ปัญหา
Then your mind will
So to do that, then that's not.
ที่ไม่มีปัญหาเกิดขึ้น
be mindful and let things take their
ปัญ
natural
หาอย่างนี้
course.
ไม่มีปัญหา
Then
อย่าง
your
นี้ไม่
mind
มี
will
ปัญหา
become
นี้
still,
ไปไม่
like
มี
a
ปัญหา
clear
ที่
forest
เราผ่าน
pool.
แล้ว
All kinds of rare animals will come to drink at the pool. You will see many wonderful and strange things come and go, but
ถึงแม้
you
ยังไม่ตาย
will be
ก็นำ
still.
ชาวพุทธไปถึงได้ถ้าเราเข้าใจในอนัตตา
Problems will arise, but you will see through
อ
them
นัตตาคำเดียวนี่
immediately.
แหละนำชาวพุทธไปถึงที่หมดปัญหาแล้ว
This is the happiness of the Buddha.
Okay, that was a magnificent video. I'm glad I found that one in the sea of sort of other content that was on there. That was only a short video that showed a little bit of how they live and what Ajahn Chah's views are. And yeah, okay, wow. Alright, so there's a couple of good resources I've got here. This video and this book. I think I might end the video by perhaps just looking through the book and reading a few passages. I just want to go back to my notes. I didn't take too many this time around. Okay, so he lived, Ajahn Chah, he lived 17th of June 1918 to 16th of January 1982. He was a Thai Buddhist monk of the, he's Theravadan, but he was part of the forest monk tradition, which they have in Thailand. He had a famous teacher, was that Ajahn Mun, I believe that was his name. And Ajahn Chah was instrumental in establishing Theravada Buddhism in the West. One of the things he was most concerned with was the sangha. And he understood that there needed to be a sangha in the West. So there was some work done towards that end. They established monasteries in different parts of the world, England being one of the most notable. So let's go back to the glossary page. I just want to see what it says here. An influential 20th century forest monk and Dharma teacher from Thailand. So yeah, that's a pretty accurate description. I want to know, where's the glossary of Buddhism here? Why are there no people in this? So these are all concepts, words. I think all the people are down in this box at the bottom. Where is it? Topics in Buddhism show. So if you look here, I think there's a section on major figures. So is Ajahn Chah in there? So there he is. He's there. He's buried. So there's a lot of major figures in Buddhism. So there's Mun. And there's Ajahn Chah. So let's have a look through this book here. I might even just go to the website. Let's try Living with the Cobra. I will read, is that the whole thing? Yeah, I'll read the whole thing. So, Living with the Cobra. This short talk is for the benefit of a new disciple who will soon be returning to London. May it serve to help you understand the teaching that you have studied here at Wat Pa Pong. Most simply, this is the practice to be free of suffering in the cycle of birth and death. So earlier I sort of indicated this these karmic cycles. I just want to Google that very briefly. Stop. No, I don't need that. Go back. So that's Hinduism, and that is samsara, right? So cyclic change, suffering. I will get into this in another video. So right now, in order to do this practice, remember to regard all the various activities of the mind, all those you like and all those you dislike, in the same way as you would regard a cobra. Okay, regard all the various activities of the mind, the ones you like and the ones you dislike, in the same way you would regard a cobra. The cobra is an extremely poisonous snake, poisonous enough to cause death if it should bite us. And so also it is with our moods. The moods that we like are poisonous. The moods that we dislike are also poisonous. They prevent our minds from being free and hinder our understanding of the truth as it was taught by the Buddha. Okay, so what this is getting into is there's this aspect of Buddha's teachings where once again we treat our beliefs as a raft towards truth, and we abandon them once we reach the shore. Okay, and this includes the beliefs that we like, that are helpful. These are all provisional. We need to live in such a way where we can discard them at some point. And I don't know if this is talking strictly about beliefs. It could be more. Moving on. Thus, it is necessary to try and maintain our mindfulness throughout the day and night. Whatever you may be doing, be it standing, sitting, lying down, speaking, or whatever, you should do with mindfulness. When you are able to establish this mindfulness, you'll find that there will arise clear comprehension associated with it, and that these two conditions will bring about wisdom. Thus, mindfulness, clear comprehension, and wisdom will work together, and you'll be like one who is awake both day and night. Okay, so these teachings left us by the Buddha are not teachings to just be listened to or simply absorbed on an intellectual level. They are teachings that through practice can be made to arise and known in our hearts. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we should have these teachings. And what we mean by to have these teachings or to have the truth is that whatever we do or say with wisdom. When we think and contemplate, we do so with wisdom. We say that one who has mindfulness and clear comprehension combined in this way with wisdom is one who is close to the Buddha. Okay, so yeah, this idea that we should be constantly mindful. I think of this sometimes when I move through the world. I just try to empty my head of the thoughts. All of the thoughts that are sort of rattling around my head. I just want to be drifting along in pure experience. I want to be able to catch what is happening. I want to be able to react in a wise way, not a sort of instinctive, stupid, habitual way. So, when you leave here, you should practice bringing everything back to your own mind. Look at your mind with this mindfulness and clear comprehension and develop this wisdom. With these three conditions, there will arise a letting go. You'll know the constant arising and passing away of all phenomena. You should know that that which is arising and passing away is only the activity of mind. When something arises, it passes away and is followed by further arising and passing away. In the way of Dharma, we call this arising and passing away birth and death. And this is everything. This is all there is. When suffering has arisen, it passes away and when it has passed away, suffering arises again. There's just suffering arising and passing away. When you see this much, you'll be able to know constantly this arising and passing away. And when your knowing is constant, you'll see that this is really all there is. Everything is just birth and death. It's not as if there is anything which carries on. There's just this arising and passing away, and that's all. That's all there is. Okay, so we're seeing this life as a kind of cycle of things which have a beginning and an end. And I think in that video we watched, they talked about sort of you cultivate yourself as this kind of like you become like a very calm stream, and then all these strange animals sort of come up and drink from you, and then they leave. I think that's an interesting metaphor to explore. Okay, so I'll try not to rush too much through this one, but I've got a few paragraphs left. This kind of seeing will give rise to a tranquil feeling of dispassion towards the world. Such a feeling arises when we see that actually there is nothing worth wanting. There is only a rising and passing away, a being born followed by a dying. This is when the mind arrives at letting everything go according to its own nature. Things arise and pass away in our mind, and we know. When happiness arises, we know. When dissatisfaction arises, we know. And this knowing happiness means that we don't identify with it as being ours. And likewise, with dissatisfaction and unhappiness, we don't identify with them as being ours. When we no longer identify with and cling to happiness and suffering, we are simply left with the natural way of things. Okay, so I've got to say, as far as the Theravadins go, this is peak for me. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to read this one again. It's a really, what do they call it? Living with the cobra. So we say that mental activity is like the deadly poisonous cobra. If we don't interfere with a cobra, it simply goes on its own way. Even though it may be extremely poisonous, we are not affected by it. We don't go near it or take hold of it, and it doesn't bite us. The cobra does what is natural for a cobra to do. That's the way it is. If you are clever, you'll leave it alone, and so you let be that which is good. You also let be that which is not good. Let it be according to its own nature. Let be your liking and disliking the same way as you don't interfere with the cobra. So one who is intelligent will have this kind of attitude towards the various moods that arise in the mind. When goodness arises, we let it be good, but we know also we understand its nature. And two, we let be the not good, we let it be according to its nature. We don't take hold of it because we don't want anything. We don't want evil, neither do we want good. We want neither heaviness nor lightness, happiness nor suffering. When in this way our wanting is at an end, peace is firmly established. When we have this kind of peace established in our minds, we can depend on it. This peace, we say, has arisen out of confusion. Confusion has ended. The Buddha called the attainment of final enlightenment an extinguishing, in the same way that fire is extinguished. We extinguish fire at the place at which it appears. Wherever it is hot, that's where we can make it cool. And so it is with enlightenment. I really like that quote. Wherever it is hot, that's where we can make it cool. Nibbana is found in samsara. Enlightenment and delusion, samsara, exist in the same place, just as do hot and cold. It's hot where it was cold and cold where it was hot. When heat arises, the coolness disappears, and when there is coolness, there is no more heat. In this way, Nibbana and samsara are the same. We are told to put an end to samsara, which means to stop the ever-turning cycle of confusion. This is putting an end to confusion. This putting an end to confusion is extinguishing the fire. When external fire is extinguished, there is coolness. When the internal fires of sensual craving, aversion, and delusion are put out, this is coolness also. This is the nature of enlightenment. It's the extinguishing of fire, the cooling of that which was hot. This is peace. This is the end of samsara, the cycle of birth and death. When you arrive at enlightenment, this is how it is. It's an ending of the ever-turning and ever-changing, an ending of greed, aversion, and delusion in our minds. We talk about it in terms of happiness because this is how worldly people understand the ideal to be, but in reality it has gone beyond. It is beyond both happiness and suffering. It's perfect peace. So as you go, you should take this teaching which I have given you and contemplate it carefully. Your stay here hasn't been easy, and I have had little opportunity to give you instruction, but in this time you have been able to study the real meaning of our practice. May this practice lead you to happiness. May it help you grow in truth. May you be freed from the suffering of birth and death. Okay, that was a really great talk, Living with the Cobra. So it's addressed to a new disciple who's leaving for London. And as we learned in this, in studying Ajahn Chah, okay, he had monasteries overseas. There's monasteries in London, all part of his sangha project. This living with the cobra. What is the cobra? The cobra is, it's our good thoughts and it's our bad thoughts. Okay, it's all mental formations. It's the mental formations in our brain. We have to regard them as poisonous. Okay, I'm not sure how people think about that. Sometimes there's good thoughts, some thoughts are helpful. I don't know. Living with the cobra. I feel we must hold all thoughts in suspicion if we are to gain control over our minds. So I want to look through this a bit further. I'm really impressed by this to the point where I may even do a video just sort of close reading this and analysing this, because it's such a good summary of the Buddhist teachings. So, alright, living with the cobra. Moving on. Ajahn Chah, that's him there. I think we'll end the video here. I found that a very helpful session. I learned a little bit more about Theravada Buddhism there, sort of where it is, how it has developed historically. I'm interested in Buddhism in Thailand, and yeah, Ajahn Chah, a forest monk from Thailand. If we go back to the glossary page, that's what he says. An influential 20th century forest monk and Dharma teacher from Thailand. Thank you.